What's up, YouTube? Sorry I didn't post this sooner. My computer wasn't uploading videos, so I'm just going to do my recap of McGregor versus Siver real fast, and then I'm going to do my predictions for Gustafsson versus Johnson right after this. So, starting at the bottom, Jacoby Sanchez versus Tataki Matsuda. It was pretty, I thought Matsuda was the better fighter overall, but he got caught and dropped in the first and the third, so I gave those rounds to Jacoby. So I had 29-28 off for Jacoby. I hope Matsuda gets another shot because he did look really good. It's just he got dropped twice. So, hopefully he gets another shot. Next, Shane O'Connell versus Matt Van Buren. Matt Van Buren looked really good in the first two rounds. I thought he won those two, but towards the end of the second he got caught. And this was definitely the best fight on the card. I'm glad it won Fight of the Night. And then, O'Connell really turned it on in the third and knocked him out. So, good win for O'Connell. I thought he did a good job of rallying to come back after he was definitely losing the first, two rounds. Next was Charles Rosa versus Shane Soriano. And I thought Shane Soriano looked really good in the beginning, but then come the second round he started to slow down. And then come to the third, it was almost like he didn't really do anything, and then Charles Rosa finally caught him in the Darce choke. So, good win for Charles Rosa, staying consistent with his attack throughout the whole 3 rounds. He looked really good. He looks like a good prospect in my opinion. Next, Johnny Cage versus Frankie Perez. And this fight was kind of like what most of the fights on the cards was. Not bad. Not a lot of these fights were bad, but they weren't super exciting. And it was kind of like one guy that seemed a lot better than the rest. And that's kind of where this fight's where it's kind of all started. Johnny Cage was just much better than Frankie Perez. And, he finished him in the third, but Perez never did anything to make this fight a fight. Case was winning the whole fight from the second it started till the second it ended. It was just kind of boring to watch this one guy dominate the other guy, but it was still a good win for Case. He looked really good. I hope he gets top 20 guy in his next fight. Next was Patrick Houlihan versus Shane Howell, and they're trying to give Patrick Houlihan an easy win after the loss that he just had, and that's what this was. It was an easy win for him. He was able to control this fight the whole time. He was able to get takedowns, and then he was able to stay on top, and his striking was better too. He couldn't get the finish, but he was super dominant. The fight was super one-sided, and good win for Patrick Houlihan. Next was Chris Wade versus Zhang Lipeng, and same thing. Chris Wade, much better wrestler. Zhang Lipeng couldn't do anything. Chris Wade controlled the whole fight. Good win for him. Lorenz Larkin versus John Howard. It was a good fight while it lasted. It's just Larkin landed a decent uppercut or a hook, I can't remember, and knocked out John Howard really early, like a minute or two into that fight. So, good knockout win for Lorenz. This is where the card got kind of weird because Patrick Cathal Pendred versus Shane Spencer. A lot of people thought Spencer won, but I thought every round was pretty close, so I didn't think it was the worst robbery ever. When I'm doing predictions for cards in Brazil, I always say it. You can't have close rounds with these guys in their hometowns. You can't. I thought every round was close, and if this wasn't in Cahal's hometown, Spencer probably would have won. But if you're having close rounds like that, even if you're winning them, if Patrick is getting takedowns and staying on top, that's enough to swing a decision his way if it's in his hometown. So I didn't think it was a robbery. Shane Spencer shouldn't have let him take him down so much. He was letting Patrick even out the rounds by doing that. So, good win for Cahal. He probably would have lost anywhere else, but like I said, in his hometown, him getting takedowns every round like that probably stole it in the fight. On the main card, Gleason Tebow versus Norman Park. This was different than the Cahal Pendred fight. And it's not just because I picked Tebow to win. It was different because Norman Park didn't land one takedown, and Tebow landed one every round except for, I think he got one in the first, one in the second, and then he didn't get one in the third. So I guess he lost the third because he didn't get a takedown on Park. But Park was 0 for 15. I don't know how they count the takedowns, but the striking was one-sided and the wrestling was one-sided. So that was different. With Cahal, at least he was getting takedowns, so I could kind of see why the rounds could have went to him. With Park, he wasn't getting takedowns, and he wasn't landing as much strikes. So, I'm glad Tebow won, but that should have been easy 30-27 for Tebow. But like I said, the most important thing is that he won, but still, that fight was not even remotely close. I don't know how anyone can justify a split decision for that. Next was Uriah Hall versus Ron Stallings. And this fight was good while it lasted. I just didn't agree with the stoppage. I feel like the only time a fight should get stopped is if a guy's injured or if he can't see. and the cut was on his cheek. So, you know, the fight was actually really good. It looked like it was shaping up to be one of the better fights on the card after so many kind of boring fights. But then, you know, he got cut, and I know skin was hanging off, but like I said, to me a fight should only be stopped if the guy wants it. You know, like the fighter says, I can't go on, or if the person's injured, like that chick when her ear was coming off, or Anderson Silva's knee, or you know, if blood's going right in the eye and the guy can't see, that's dangerous. But you know, some skin was hanging off, but it was on his cheek. I don't think he was, you know what I mean? It just looked nastier than it was. I wish that fight would have kept going. It was shaping up to be pretty good. But, you know, still, good win for Uriah Hall. Next was Ben Henderson versus Donald Cerrone, and I didn't think this fight was a robbery either, because I thought Cerrone won the first for sure, in my opinion. And then the second and third could win either way. And, you know, this is no offense to Ben Henderson, but he's won, like, you know, the first fight with Cerrone, I thought Cerrone won that one clear. The rematch with Frankie Edgar was probably the worst, you know. I think everyone thought Frankie won that fight, like, 4 rounds to 1. And then, what was it? The fight with Gilbert. That one was close, but I thought Gilbert won. But you know, that one wasn't as bad, but still. The fight with Josh Thompson was also really bad, where he was just laying those pitter-patter kicks, but Josh Thompson had his back for like 4 minutes every round almost, except for like 1. So, you know, Ben Henderson's won a lot of fights I think he should have lost. So it's finally, you know, karma come around and bit him in the ass for the first time in his career. You know, he's had all these close fights and he's won them all, and now he's lost one. You know what I mean? It's just righteous justice, in my opinion. He finally lost a close fight after he's won so many, even some fights that I didn't think were close at all. So, you know, just saying. And then the last fight, Conor McGregor versus Dennis Siver. You know, I thought Siver looked good in the beginning, but he started to slow down, and Conor really started to light him up towards the end of the first. Come the second, same thing. He wasn't as fast. Conor was lighting him up, and Conor finished him. The only problem I really had with this card was the way they promoted it. I feel like the whole card was not about the fights. It's just about Conor McGregor, and I don't like that, because to me, what a fight should be about is promoting the fighters, and Dennis Siver didn't get promoted at all, so his stock didn't rise up at all. I don't know anything more about Dennis Siver coming in. You know what I mean? You get all this shit about Conor McGregor, his family history and all that, and I don't know why Dennis Siver doesn't get any of that love. That's why I didn't like that about this card. I felt like it was really disrespectful to Dennis Siver. It just felt like Conor McGregor's the next big thing. Who gives a shit about Dennis Siver? It's not like he hasn't been in the top 15 his whole career. Well, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to post my predictions for Gustafsson versus Johnson soon. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.